So the interdisciplinary world, the BASC world, has really started to change the way I see things. I've been seeing things through what I can call my new interdisciplinary spectacles wherever I go. I spent the morning at the UK Institute of Sport talking about the possibility of thinking about psychological and neuroscientific factors involved in sports training, and it was really very, very interesting and very challenging. I was asked by some very knowledgeable and smart people what could neuroscience offer to a sports trainer, and it's usually very easy to think of things like, well, we could show you which part of the brain is active, or we could measure your eye movements, but then they will look you right in the eye and say, well, how does that help us to get somebody around a track half a second faster, or how does that help us to get somebody to make better decisions when they're on a bicycle in a team sport? And I find myself backtracking sometimes and ending up thinking, well, the science is really interesting, but it's not the most important factor here. It's just one of the many, many starting points to helping Britain win all the gold medals at the 2012 Olympics. So that's one of the things that's been on my mind and on my plate recently. I've also been thinking a little bit about some of the questions that students asked us when they visited us for the BASC Open Days, and I think the most common was, well, what can we do afterwards that will allow us to compete with specialists in fields? Will we be eligible for MSc programs, and will we be eligible for PhD programs? And I've been thinking of that very deeply, actually, and I would say my starting position was always one of confidence that people would be okay with an interdisciplinary degree. But I'm coming to realise that actually I think they'll be at an advantage, not just able to compete, but the way a lot of disciplines are going, the door is beginning to close on very narrow specialisms. The time when people can spend their PhD days becoming a little version of their PhD supervisor or a laboratory clone are really over, and the test of a good PhD now is often what you can do with it in the real world, and that means having an appreciation of real world problems, and it means understanding what it is that other people need from your scientific work. So that's been a little bit of a journey from me, of a problem that I thought I had the solution to, but actually I now believe it even more strongly than I did when I began.